The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning, transmitted through quantum channels that humanity wasn't supposed to possess. Director Sarah Chen stared at the holographic projection hovering above her desk in the underground facility of Project Sentinel. The alien text translated itself in real time. "Your species has been marked for demonstration." Sarah knew what that meant. In the decade since humanity had secretly achieved faster-than-light travel, they'd learned about the Consortium, an alliance of advanced civilizations that managed emerging spacefaring races. Management usually involved brutal object lessons delivered by their elite hunters. But the Consortium had miscalculated. They didn't know about Marcus Reed. The facility's AI chimed softly. "Director, he's here." Marcus entered without ceremony, a lean, unremarkable man who could vanish in any crowd. His dark eyes held the stillness of deep space. Most wouldn't guess he was humanity's deadliest operative, enhanced with classified technology that made him nearly superhuman. "The Consortium's sending the vanishing fleet," Sarah said, gesturing at the projection. 3 hunter-killer teams. They're coming to make an example of Earth." Marcus studied the data scrolling past. "They're expecting scared primitives. Let's disappoint them." Sarah smiled grimly. The Consortium didn't know that Earth had been preparing for this moment for years. While they'd watched for missile silos and energy weapons, humanity had poured its resources into something far more dangerous, a single perfect countermeasure. The first hunter-killer team arrived 3 days later, their stealth ship slipping through Earth's defensive grid like smoke through fingers. They were the Nyx, living shadows whose bodies absorbed light and sound. Perfect assassins. They found their first target, a military research facility in Nevada, completely empty. As they moved through darkened halls, sensors probed for any sign of life. Nothing registered on any spectrum. The team leader froze suddenly, some primal instinct screaming danger. Too late. Marcus dropped from above, his quantum-shifted armor allowing him to phase partially through solid matter. His molecular blade, sharp enough to split atoms, took the leader's head before anyone could react. The remaining Nyx scattered, their adaptive camouflage rendering them nearly invisible. But Marcus could see them. His enhanced senses tracked their quantum signatures, the subtle distortions they created in space-time. 2 more fell before they could reach their extraction point. The last one made it back to their ship, but that had been the plan. Marcus had planted a quantum tracker. Now they could follow it back to the fleet. In orbit, the Consortium commanders received the survivors' report with growing unease. This wasn't how first contact scenarios played out. Primitive species weren't supposed to have countermeasures for their most advanced hunter teams. They weren't supposed to have warriors who could match their elite assassins. They deployed the second team immediately, the Chrome Guard, cyborg killers in liquid metal armor. This time, they targeted population centers, hoping to force Earth's defender to expose himself protecting civilians. But when they attacked Chicago, they found the city prepared. Quantum displacement fields redirected their weapons' fire into pocket dimensions. Gravity manipulators turned their liquid metal against them. And in the chaos, Marcus struck again and again, his molecular blade finding weak points in supposedly impenetrable armor. The Consortium commanders watched in disbelief as a second team was systematically dismantled. This single human operative was outmaneuvering their best hunters, using technology that shouldn't exist at Earth's development level. The third team never got the chance to deploy. Marcus had followed the quantum tracker to their cloaked command ship. They detected his approach too late. A single figure in quantum-shifted armor, surfing gravitational waves through the void of space. He breached their hull in seconds, his molecular blade cutting through their strongest alloys like paper. The ship's defensive systems couldn't target him as he phased in and out of normal space. Within minutes, he had fought his way to the bridge. The Consortium commander, a crystalline being from the galaxy's core, faced him with something approaching awe. "What are you?" "A message," Marcus replied, his blade humming softly. "Humanity isn't prey anymore." The commander understood then. The consortium had planned to make an example of Earth. Instead, Earth had made an example of them. When Sarah received Marcus's quantum transmission confirming the mission's success, she immediately called an emergency meeting with Earth's Defense Council. The consortium would be back, but not as conquerors. Their hunter teams had failed spectacularly, and now they knew Earth possessed technology that could threaten their dominance. They would come to negotiate. Marcus stood at the window of the Sentinel facility, watching the sun rise over the mountains. Humanity's first steps into the galactic community hadn't gone as the consortium planned. They had expected to find primitives playing with fire. Instead, they'd discovered something far more dangerous, a species that had learned to hunt the hunters. The quantum channels hummed with increased activity. The consortium was calling an emergency session. Earth's demonstration had worked, perhaps too well. They had wanted to be taken seriously by the galactic community. Now they had the full attention of every advanced civilization in the galaxy. Sarah joined Marcus at the window. "Think they'll try again?" He shook his head slightly. "Not like this. We've shown them the cost. Now comes the real challenge. Politics. Politics." His reflection smiled faintly in the reinforced glass. "Good thing we've got more surprises ready." The sun cleared the mountains, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. Somewhere up there, the consortium was reassessing everything they thought they knew about Earth. They had sought to teach humanity its place in the galaxy. Instead, they'd learned a lesson of their own. Never underestimate a species that had spent its entire history learning to survive against the odds. Humanity wasn't just ready for the galaxy. They were ready to reshape it. The quantum channels continued to buzz with activity as the galaxy's power brokers scrambled to adjust to this new reality. Earth had arrived on the galactic stage not with a whimper, but with a demonstration of power that couldn't be ignored. And Marcus Reed, humanity's quiet weapon, stood ready for whatever came next. The hunt was just beginning. The consortium's grand chamber had lost its air of invincibility. Representatives from 1,000 worlds watched uneasily as footage of their failed hunter teams played on massive quantum displays. Their most elite forces dismantled by a single human operative. Admiral Vexthor, a towering figure of living plasma contained within crystalline armor, addressed the assembly. "This changes everything. The humans have quantum shift technology, molecular manipulation, gravity control, capabilities they shouldn't have for centuries." The chamber erupted in overlapping voices and electromagnetic transmissions. Some called for immediate military action. Others demanded diplomatic contact. A few suggested quarantine of the entire solar system. Meanwhile, Marcus Reed was tracking his next target through the neon-lit underbelly of New Singapore. The consortium hadn't withdrawn completely. Instead, they'd deployed something new. Infiltration units designed to gather intelligence on Earth's sudden technological leap. His quantum sensors detected the alien operative, a shapeshifter using borrowed DNA to pass as human. The infiltrator was good, blending perfectly with the crowd, its biological camouflage nearly flawless. Nearly. Marcus followed at a distance, his enhanced senses picking up the subtle quantum fluctuations in the creature's cellular structure. The alien was heading for a secured research facility, one of many sites developing humanity's next generation of defensive technologies. He could have ended it quickly, but Sarah had been clear. They needed intelligence of their own. The consortium's response to their show of force would determine Earth's next moves. The infiltrator reached the facility's outer perimeter. Its DNA shifted again, mimicking an authorized researcher. But as it approached the quantum-sealed doors, Marcus made his move. His molecular blade hummed to life, its edge splitting atoms in a ghostly blue line. The shapeshifter spun, its borrowed form melting away to reveal its true nature, a mass of shifting silver-black tendrils. "Impressive technology, human," it spoke, voice resonating from its entire form. "But you've revealed too much too soon. The consortium will never allow such advances to go unchecked." Marcus didn't waste breath on reply. He phased through the creature's first attack, tendrils passing harmlessly through his quantum-shifted form. His blade found purchase, severing several appendages. The alien screamed in frequencies that shattered nearby windows. The fight was brief but devastating. When it ended, Marcus stood over the wounded infiltrator, its silver-black mass pooled and twitching. "You think you've won," it gurgled. "But you don't understand. We aren't the threat. We're the warning." Marcus's quantum comm crackled. Sarah's voice was tense. "We're detecting massive energy signatures, multiple quantum ruptures forming in high orbit." The sky above New Singapore lit up like dawn. Through gaps in the gleaming towers, Marcus saw massive shapes emerging from quantum space, the consortium's main battle fleet, not the hunter teams or infiltrators. This was their real power. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies," Sarah reported, demanding immediate surrender and technology transfer. Marcus retrieved a quantum core from the infiltrator's remains. "They still don't understand. Get me a direct line to their command ship." Moments later, his words reached every ship in the fleet. "You sent hunters to test us. We eliminated them. You sent spies to study us. We caught them. Now you bring armies thinking quantity will succeed where quality failed." He paused, letting the implications sink in. "Ask yourselves, if one human could destroy your best hunters, what do you think our armies can do?" The quantum ruptures flared again. But this time, the fleet was retreating. They'd finally realized the truth. Humanity hadn't just developed advanced technology. They'd developed it in secret, testing and perfecting it while the consortium watched for obvious signs of progress. The question that now haunted the galaxy's most powerful beings was simple: what else were the humans hiding? In the Sentinel facility, Sarah watched the fleet's energy signatures fade. "They'll be back. With allies." Marcus nodded, cleaning his molecular blade. "Good. More opportunities to demonstrate why Earth shouldn't be underestimated." The quantum core from the infiltrator pulsed with data, information that would help humanity prepare for the next encounter. The consortium had tried to make an example of Earth. Instead, they'd revealed their own limitations. The real war hadn't started yet, but when it did, humanity would be ready. They had spent their entire history preparing for it, whether they knew it or not. Every conflict, every struggle for survival, had led to this moment. The galaxy was about to learn why humans were the most dangerous species of all. They never stopped adapting, never stopped improving, and never, ever surrendered. The consortium's grand library, a crystalline structure orbiting a dying star, had stood untouched for millennia, until today. Marcus phased through its quantum-hardened walls, his stealth systems rendering him invisible to the most advanced security networks in the galaxy. Earth had discovered the library's location from the infiltrator's quantum core, along with something else: evidence of deeper corruption within the consortium. The library's data crystals hummed with accumulated knowledge of 1,000 civilizations. Marcus moved silently through the stacks, his enhanced mind interfacing directly with the alien technology. He wasn't here for technological secrets. Earth had developed its own path. He sought proof. Security drones patrolled in precise patterns, their sensors sweeping for any anomaly. They passed through Marcus's quantum-shifted form without detecting his presence. The evidence he sought lay in the restricted archives, records of the consortium's true purpose. "I'm in position," he transmitted to Sarah, beginning data extraction. The archives revealed an ugly truth. The consortium didn't just manage emerging civilizations. They deliberately suppressed them. Each new species was assessed, tested, and if deemed too innovative or aggressive, subtly guided into technological dead ends. Earth had escaped this fate by developing in secret, hidden behind carefully maintained appearances of normal progression. Now they could expose the truth. "Incoming," Sarah warned. "Multiple quantum signatures." They knew you were coming. The library's defenses activated. Reality itself seemed to twist as space-time manipulation fields engage. But Marcus had planned for this. His quantum shift drive activated, sending him into a state between dimensions. The leaked consortium guards materialized, not hunters this time, but warriors in Apex-level battle suits. Their weapons could crack planets. Marcus smiled behind his mask. They still didn't understand. "You're too late," he transmitted on their secure frequency. "The data is already gone." The guards opened fire, their weapons tearing holes in reality itself. But Marcus was already moving, his molecular blades singing through the air. The first guard fell, his supposedly impenetrable armor split open. The second managed to activate a quantum shield, useless against Marcus's phase-shifted attacks. The battle lasted seconds. When it ended, Marcus stood among disabled guards and scattered weapon parts. The library's alarm screamed in frequencies that shattered data crystals. "Extraction complete," he reported. "Sending the data now." Sarah's voice was triumphant. "Broadcasting on all frequencies. Every civilization in the galaxy will know what the consortium has been doing." The revelation sparked a firestorm. Minor powers that had suspected consortium manipulation now had proof. Major powers that had benefited from the system faced internal revolts. The carefully maintained galactic order began to crack. Earth revealed itself as a sanctuary for suppressed civilizations, offering their quantum technology to those who'd been held back. The consortium's grip on power loosened as more species broke free. Marcus watched from the library's observation deck as ships from newly liberated worlds jumped into quantum space, carrying Earth's gift of unrestricted technological development. The consortium had created its own worst nightmare, a humanity that not only resisted control but actively worked to dismantle it. "The consortium's calling for an emergency session," Sarah reported. "They're offering negotiations." "No," Marcus replied. "They're playing for time. Prepare the next phase." He had seen enough in the library's archives to know the consortium's response to existential threats. They would gather their full might, call in every favor, and attempt to crush Earth with overwhelming force. But humanity had planned for this too. The quantum technology they'd shared wasn't their most advanced. Earth had kept its true capabilities secret, waiting for this moment. The predators would soon learn what it meant to become prey. The consortium's emergency session dissolved into chaos. Representatives accused each other of collaboration with Earth, of secretly harboring advanced technology, of betraying ancient pacts. But beneath the public spectacle, darker moves were in play. Marcus intercepted the quantum transmission from deep within consortium space. Their leaders had activated the Omega Protocol, calling in ancient debts from species even older than the consortium itself. Civilizations that had ascended beyond normal space were being asked to return. In the Sentinel facility, Sarah studied the quantum readings with growing concern. "The energy signatures are unlike anything we've seen. They're pulling in forces from outside our dimension." "Good," Marcus replied, checking his upgraded quantum armor. "That means they're desperate." Earth had anticipated this response. The technology they'd shared with oppressed civilizations wasn't just for liberation. It was part of a vast sensor network. Every quantum drive activated created another node in humanity's web of intelligence. Marcus deployed to the edge of consortium space, where the fabric of reality was already beginning to tear. The Ancient Ones were returning, beings of pure energy and thought, who had transcended physical form eons ago. His mission wasn't to fight them. It was to show them the truth. The quantum cord he carried contained more than just evidence of consortium corruption. It held proof that the consortium had manipulated even these ascended beings, using complex quantum algorithms to subtly influence their evolution over millions of years. The first of the ancients emerged, a vast consciousness that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Marcus transmitted the data directly into its quantum matrix. The response was immediate and devastating. The Ancient One's fury manifested as ripples in space-time itself. The consortium had built its power on lies within lies, manipulating not just emerging civilizations, but even those they claimed to revere as allies. More ancients emerged, each receiving the truth, each turning their vast power against their former manipulators. The consortium's carefully constructed web of alliances and deceptions began to unravel. Multiple quantum ruptures detected, Sarah reported. The consortium's core worlds are going dark. Marcus watched from his quantum-shifted vantage point as entire solar systems were sealed off from normal space. The ancients weren't destroying the consortium. They were containing it, ensuring it could never manipulate another species again. But in their fury, the ancients had overlooked something crucial. The quantum algorithms that had influenced their evolution were still running, still shaping the very fabric of space-time itself. "Send the final package," Marcus transmitted to Sarah. The quantum core in his armor activated, broadcasting the deactivation codes Earth had discovered. The ancients paused in their assault, feeling the subtle chains of influence falling away. They turned their vast consciousness toward humanity, finally seeing them clearly. Earth hadn't just exposed the consortium's manipulation. They had freed the ancients themselves from bondage they never knew existed. In the aftermath, as the galaxy restructured itself, Earth emerged not as a conqueror, but as a liberator. The predators who had ruled through deception found themselves trapped in the web of their own making. Humanity had won not through superior firepower or technological dominance, but by understanding the most fundamental truth in the universe. Knowledge, freely shared, was the greatest weapon of all. The galaxy held its breath. The Ancient Ones had withdrawn to consider humanity's revelations, leaving behind a power vacuum. The consortium's core worlds remained quarantined, their once mighty civilization contained within quantum barriers. Marcus stood before Earth's United Council, his quantum armor deactivated for the first time in months. "We've achieved our primary objective. The consortium no longer threatens emerging civilizations." Sarah projected the latest quantum scans. Thousands of worlds were awakening from technological stasis, their development no longer suppressed. Some had already achieved quantum travel, their ships joining Earth's growing network of allies. But victory had brought new challenges. The consortium's absence had destabilized ancient power structures. Minor conflicts erupted across the galaxy as species tested their newfound freedom. "They need guidance," Sarah said. "Not control, but a framework for cooperation." Marcus nodded. "That's why we developed the Nexus Protocol." Earth's greatest achievement wasn't its quantum technology or stealth systems. It was a new model of galactic cooperation, one based on shared knowledge and mutual development, rather than suppression and control. The Nexus Protocol established quantum channels that allowed civilizations to share discoveries while maintaining technological independence. No single species could dominate. No technology could be suppressed. The Ancient Ones returned 3 days later. Their vast consciousnesses had examined Earth's proposal and found something unexpected: hope. Humanity had created a system that even they, with their transcendent intelligence, hadn't conceived. "We offer a choice," Marcus transmitted to the assembled civilizations. "Continue alone, or join a genuine alliance. Not the consortium's forced hierarchy, but a network of equals." The response exceeded all expectations. Species that had warred for millennia found common ground in shared discovery. The quantum network expanded, connecting worlds that had never communicated before. The consortium, watching from their quarantine, finally understood their fundamental error. They had seen emerging civilizations as threats to be controlled. Humanity had seen them as allies to be uplifted. Marcus and Sarah stood at the Sentinel facility's observation deck, watching ships from 100 worlds quantum jump in formation, the first joint exercise of the new Galactic Alliance. "They called us prey," Sarah remarked. "They never realized we were teaching them how to evolve." Marcus's quantum sensors detected traces of the Ancient Ones, still watching, still learning from the species they once thought beneath them. Humanity had changed not just the galaxy's power structure, but its fundamental nature. The predator-prey relationship that had defined galactic civilization for eons had been replaced by something new: partnership. Earth had shown the galaxy a better way forward. Not through force, not through deception, but through the most human trait of all: the desire to reach higher together. The hunt was over. The age of cooperation had begun.